In terms of short films in general, my product used the forms and conventions of real media products in the following ways. We followed the forms and conventions of length. Our product was 4 minutes and 23 seconds long. Me and my team decided we don't want to make our film too long, as this may make the audience bored. We also only used 2 on-screen characters. This is because it was logistically easy in using more, and also meant we could focus more on the main character rather than sub-characters. When studying the codes and conventions of short films, I found that most films only feature 2 characters. For example, the film Pursuit only features 2 characters. We also followed the forms and conventions regarding locations. Our product only featured 2 locations: the main character's house and the street that the main character ran down when chasing the bus. We did this because we felt if we used too many locations, we would waste precious time. This choice to only use 2 locations was inspired by my research on codes and conventions of short films, where I watched the film Prospects on Vimeo. This only showed 2 locations. We also kept dialogue to a minimum because we wanted to tell the narrative through visuals instead. In terms of the genre of our product, which was a comedy, we also used some of the micro-elements of the forms and conventions of real media products. For example, costume and makeup. We used the form and convention of making a character wear a funny costume to increase the humour. For example, at the beginning of the film, the main character is wearing nothing but tight pants. This is funny and gets a reaction off the audience and lets the audience know what type of character this is straight away. He then wears a horrible shirt which he's planning on wearing to his date. This once again tells the audience of what the character is like. We also decided to make the character wear flip-flops and socks to add to the comedic effect. This is an example of using the forms and convention of mise-en-scène by using costume. This links to my research at codes and conventions of comedy, where I looked at the use of costume in Napoleon Dynamite to add humour to the film. Another example of micro forms and conventions of comedy that I used in my product was the use of sound. For my research, I found that most comedies use non-diegetic and funny scores to add to humour. For example, Let's Get It On by Marvin Gaye is used in a lot of comedies. In my product, I used 2 songs to add to the humour. This upbeat 80s style song is played during the running scene. And this romantic slow jam is played when the character is saying his sexy monologue. These 2 songs help add to the humour, which is why I use them. In my media product, I also challenged some of the forms and conventions of real comedy films. One of these is that I used a wide variation of shots, whereas in most comedies there isn't a wide range of shots. For example, in my media product, me and my team used a tracking shot to show the main character running down the street after the bus. There's an example of a mid-shot and a low-angle shot in these 2 tracking shots. These type of tracking shots don't usually appear in comedy films, meaning I challenged the form and conventions in comedy. Me and my team did this because we didn't want our film to be a boring and non-aesthetically pleasing bog-standard comedy. So we wanted to mix up the types of shot we used to make it more exciting and pleasing for the viewer. These are the ways my media product uses, develops and challenges forms and conventions of real media products.